Hey, Rockstar, Andrew Houston here from Brought for Contractors. Welcome to another no bullshit podcast for contractors. Here's the question I got for you. Has your year kicked off the way that you wanted it to? In other words, are you headed in the right direction to get your contracting business to where you want it to be in 2023? That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to lay out for you guys what's called the Contractor's Ladder of Success. I'm going to go behind the hood, under the scenes, to identify where you're at so you know where you got to go so you can start putting together the right plan specific to you to get you to where you want to go. Catch you on the flip.
Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class, they call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life.
All right, Rockstars, welcome to another No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. We're going to go deep into helping you guys make sure your business is going on the right track, the right trajectory for 2023. Maybe you're listening in on this, and look, if this isn't for you, if this doesn't resonate with you, then stop listening in on the podcast. I don't want to waste your time at all. Your time is very, very precious. But if you want to get insights, if you want to, get some clarity on how you can make sure, 2023 is going to go in the right direction for you, you want to listen in on this one, okay? We're going to go through what's called the Contractor's Ladder of Success really quickly. And what is that all about? Well, here's the thing. Let's use this analogy. I know we're going to be talking about business, but let's just use this analogy about like going on a trip, right? Imagine that you want to go on a trip, right? And you say to me, and I'm the guy that's trying to help you, on this trip. You say, yeah, man, I want to go to France. And I say, okay. And I go, okay, when do you want to be there? And they said, well, I want to be there in like 2 weeks from now. I go, okay, cool. Then you go, yeah, I want to go there in 2 weeks and I'm really excited. And can you help me get there? And I go, yeah. So you start giving me some details, what you want to see, and again, what sites you want to see, and what kind of food you want to eat, and types of restaurants and activities and all this stuff. And you got the date, when you want to leave. And I say to you, okay, so do you know where you are? And you go, imagine you responded with, no, I don't know where I am. I go, what do you mean? You go, no, I don't know where I am. I'm lost. What's the problem with that? Well, I could want to get you to where you want to go as best as I could. But if you don't know where you're currently at, in other words, if you don't know where your starting point is, it's impossible for you to get to where you got to go because you don't know where it is that you're starting from. You see, a lot of contractors that don't know where they're at in what we call the Contractor's Ladder of Success. And what happens is that they put in more time, more effort, more energy, and they're lost in their efforts because they don't have clarity of what level they're at in their Contractor's Ladder of Success. The other analogy I use for this is, I'm an industrial controls licensed electrician. I haven't practiced it in a long time. Automated my business, systemized my business, sold it, all the rest of that kind of stuff, got it running without me, got my profits to pay for my freedom, and got more control and more time back. And now I've done it. This will be the third time, with this business, getting it to run without me. And I do these podcasts for fun to help you guys. But, the reality is that if you don't know where you're currently at, imagine like if I was going back and becoming an electrician again, and I just went to trade school and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to walk in this classroom. And it was like third-year apprentice. It was a third-year apprentice class, maybe on, wiring different machines, or maybe it was on the electrical code or what have you. And I'm walking in there, and I don't even know whether I should be walking in to be, into the classroom as first term apprentice, second term, third, fourth, fifth. What's the problem with that? Well, it's a dangerous thing. Number one, we're not going to have the foundational principles that we needed going into that class. Secondly, if we apply some of the stuff in that class and we haven't learned some of the things that we need to learn, especially from a safety perspective, we could not only kill ourselves, we could kill somebody else. You see, there's a reason why there's a first, second, third, fourth, fifth in becoming an electrician. And I'm not saying every tradesperson has to go through an apprenticeship. I'm just saying that, the point behind it is you have to learn the foundational things and build upon those foundational things. And that actually starts off with knowing where you're currently at. So you're learning the right things at the right level. So I'm going to go through this quickly. And really the goal as I go through this, and you might want to write this down if you're not watching this video. Otherwise, go back and, listen to the audio but come back and listen to the video, because I'm actually going to walk through a diagram, basically a triangle of what the contractor's ladder of success is, what the different levels are. So that as I go through them, your job is to identify where you're at. Now, it's going to be slightly different for every single contractor listening in, but I want you to identify where you're at in this contractor's ladder of success so that you can leave this podcast and go, hey, if I'm at this level, I've got to get these things finished off. So, and I know what the next level is. So you know actually where you're at so that you can define where it is that you want to go. All right, let's do it. So there's 5 levels of the contractor's ladder of success. So again, picture it like a triangle. Actually, let me share with you. I'll share my screen. Okay. Again, if you're driving in your truck, going to a job site, going to pick up material, what have you, just listen in and you can come back to this or listen to the audio and draw this triangle. So picture that there's this triangle and there's 5 layers to it. The first layer is called startup. Okay. The next one's survival, next one's stability, next one's scale, and the next one's sell. I'm going to go through them quickly. And your job, as I said before, is identify where you're at. So you can identify what are some of the things you got to do to, get the foundational principles at that level. And that in turn will give you clarity of like, hey, if I'm at this level, then the next level for me is this. And this is what I've got to work on. All right. So this is a game changer. Okay. Once you get this dialed in, you'll be able to identify whether or not you get a better gauge of whether or not you're working on the right things at the right time or you're working on the wrong things at the wrong time. Nothing worse than working on the right thing at the wrong time. And because what's going to happen is you're going to get the wrong results. Okay. For where you're at. So the first level is startup. So quickly, what is startup? You'll know you're at startup if you're still on the tools. You're the technician. You're the installer. You're the guy actually wiring up the panels. You're the guy doing the framing on the house. You're the guy putting up the drywall. You're the guy putting in the pipes on the plumbing side, and on and on. You're the guy putting the insulation in the walls, actually doing the technician's work, the tradesperson's work. Now, here's the thing. There's no judgment for what level you're at. It's actually a perfect place to be at if that's where you are at, because what we want to do at that level is we really want to systemize how the work gets done so we get it done consistently. Nothing worse than not having systems in place for how the job should get done, for how the job should be quoted, for how we should communicate to the client. If we don't even have those basics down, then we're in trouble. And you're never going to get to the next level. Okay. You're going to constantly be in this rat race. You're going to constantly be in chaos. Putting in more time is going to mean more chaos, not less chaos. We want to go from chaos to control. Okay. Especially at this level. So we want to get consistency in the workmanship that we do. It doesn't have to be absolutely amazing workmanship. We don't want it to be poor, but if it's good and consistent, we'd rather have good and consistent than great and then not good. Okay. That's one of the inconsistency in how you deliver your products and services is one of the best ways for your competition to get your A player clients and A player team members. Okay. So you want to get this dialed in. You want to be able to have the right systems in place for, those hats. Again, doing the job, quoting the job, running the job, managing the job, the right understanding of what has to happen between the field and the office, and to deliver consistently to the client. So that's startup. So if that's you, no problem. Move on from that level, you've got to systemize each one of those things so we have consistency. Next is survival. Now, survival is where we've now delegated, we've been able to delegate properly through systems, because systems times people equals results. Just say that again, systems times people equals results, okay? People by itself is not good. We do not need you to be the system. All right. And systemizing either through using technology, I'd highly advise that. We have a lot of technology we bring to our champion CEOs. You want to leverage that so that you don't stay the system. The system is actually a true system. If it's in your head and it's not in some form of, documentation so other people can follow it, it's not a system. Okay. And it's always going to come back to you. So that's why getting the foundational principles at startup is so critical, because we're going to build everything beyond that. So survival is basically, now that we've delegated the tasks of the technician work, of the actually doing the paperwork, of trying to be the admin person, think about what that does for you. You're able to delegate a lot of those hats. You're able to delegate and hire an admin person. You're able to know that you're profitable and hire the right licensed people and know that they've got what they need to run the job, or like to do the work, whether it's the apprentice, whether it's the guy delivering material. Everybody is on the same page and communication is optimized. This allows us to go to the next level, which is more of a foreman type of role, where we're not actually doing the work. We're pretty much acting as a manager, managing people to actually do the work. And this is where other people make us money. This is where we're able to leverage those systems and get the people to run the systems and get the results that we want to be, more profits. And we're starting to get a little bit more freedom. We're starting to get more time back. We're starting to get a little more control. The bank account is now consistently going up. Not crazy, but it's consistent. Okay. Now, why is it called survival? It's called survival because this is a critical point. At this stage, you have a team and you got to feed the team. You got to feed the team with work. And if you don't have consistency around your marketing and your sales, then it becomes a massive roller coaster. Look, getting your profits to pay for your freedom is about bringing in consistent amount of profitable work, being delivered and done and ran, again, quoted and managed, so that we can consistently pay people and get consistent work on the marketing and sales side, so that we aren't in survival. Because what can quickly happen at this level, and this is why it's called survival, is if you don't get that consistency of profitable work and get it done profitably, if you didn't get startup done properly, put those right principles in place, then what will happen is you'll have symptoms of this. You'll know you're at survival if you are off the tools, but you're having cash flow issues. The bank account goes up and down like a roller coaster. You've got too much work, too little work, and it just keeps on going on and on and on. You're basically chasing yourself all the time to keep the guys busy and the team busy, to the point of, then you don't have enough, guys and team members. So that's survival. Next is stability. Stability is just that. We're leveraging the foundational principles at startup. We're leveraging the foundational principles at survival. We've got consistent work. We've got consistent growth. We've got consistent profits. The bank account is actually starting to grow up, it's starting to grow more and more and more. We don't have cash flow issues because we've built a name for ourselves. We've built a brand for ourselves. Our reputation is really, really good. We're getting referrals, more and more referrals. We've got the right marketing plan in place, based upon the survival level, where we're getting the right types of clients. We're able to filter out the bad clients. And this allows us to become more of a project manager, where we're at the level where we're able to be project manager of 2, 3 foremen with a whole bunch of technicians. And this is where things really start to get exciting, because we truly are getting more control of our life personally and on the business side. And this is where we're becoming leaders, where we're leading the people. We're leading with a vision. We're leading with a plan, with a strategy. This is where we've got consistency and communication with our team. We've got regular ongoing meetings with them. We've got employee reviews. We've got planning sessions. So at this level, we're really seeing the value of us as a champion CEO, that, for every hour that we put in, it's worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not in the long term, hundreds of thousands of dollars, because we're now putting plans in place, not just where the business is going and having clarity of the vision, but we're able to take the high level plan that we've got and disperse it down to the different departments, where the different managers are engaging, with a plan specific to them, specific to the improvements that department needs. And the managers are actually helping big time in creating that plan, because they're the ones that are closest to the field. They're the ones that are closest in their department to what needs to be improved, what needs to stop, what needs to be kept, and what needs to be started. Okay. So this is where planning and leveraging your time is absolutely crucial. Again, if you didn't get survival and startup dialed in, you're going to constantly get pulled down that ladder. Okay. And we know what happens if we're climbing the ladder, right? If we run up a couple of rungs, 3, 4 rungs, and we fall off, yeah, it can really hurt. And to the point that we fall off too hard, some people don't get back up. They can't get back on the ladder. We want to make sure we got those rungs of the ladder solid and stable. Okay. Which brings us to the scale. Now that we have a team that can pretty much start the run without us, we're able to really look at how we can use those profits to invest back into the company, invest into optimization, optimize to maximize, optimizing with the right softwares, the right technologies, optimizing with making sure we're building strategic alliances at a high level. We're not at the level of, quoting jobs and landing one job, two jobs, and so on and so forth. We're building relationships with other contractors, as an example. We're building relationships with our suppliers. Our level of communication and direction is at an all-time high, and everybody knows where we're going. And now the ship is basically able to be repeated. Okay. We're able to take a carbon copy of what's working. And if we want to expand it, we know it's going to expand in not more chaos, but more control, more problem. Okay. And more for not just yourself personally and your family, but more for your actual team, right? We can bring in the best wages. We can bring in health plans. We can be the best place to work for because our profits are being leveraged. Okay. We can take that money and we can invest in the real estate. We can invest it into the stock market. We can actually start having fun with our money and start really becoming a true entrepreneur beyond just being a champion CEO of a business. We start to become an entrepreneur. If we want to expand into other locations, other areas, that's where a lot of our champion CEOs, they expand. Okay. Now, this brings us to the last level. All along the way at Startup Survival, Stability, and Scale, we're actually increasing the value of our business exponentially. And what that does is huge, right? If we want to sell it, we can. A lot of our champion CEOs, what eventually happens is their employees buy into the business. They can sell it privately. They can sell it to, somebody in the corporate front, or, I've seen franchises buy some of these businesses, but in quite a few cases, the employees love it so much that they see a future. They want to grow because they've grown with the business. And in a lot of cases, they have a vested interest in buying that business because they know the business and they've been part of the growth of the business. Talked to an electrical contractor just yesterday, one of our long-term clients, and he's so excited about this. Had a similar conversation with a installation contractor last week, and they're going through a very similar transition. They started with us around the same time a few years ago, and now they're getting ready to retire this year, and some of their employees are buying the business and taking it over, and there's a whole transition plan, and it's really, really exciting to see that, because when they first started out with us, they were at startup. They couldn't see past their day. They couldn't see past, let alone the week. They couldn't see past the next hour. It was complete chaos. So look, you can do this. One of the things I'd highly recommend is take a look at this podcast, pause it, watch the video. If it helps you visually see this triangle of the contractor's ladder of success, identify where you're at in this contractor's ladder of success. If you want to get some help in going from where you're currently at, or making sure you're absolutely clear on where you're at, and you want to get some help to go to the next level, reach out to us. You can join our Facebook group, the Profitable Contractors Association. There are like 17,000, 18,000 members in there. And you can join that. You can you can get into these, you can see Facebook Live almost every single week. And again, we got a whole team of people. It's not just me behind the scenes. We've got like 50 people working here at Profitable Contractors, 13 different countries. It's really exciting. You can do the same thing, right? And by the way, you don't have to go big, right? You definitely have to grow through these different levels. And you want to make sure that you're on the pathway and have a plan to go from where you're at to where you want to go. But it's one level at a time, right? Slow down the speed up, know where you're at so you can get to where you got to go. Because if you don't identify where you're currently at in the contractor's ladder of success, you're going to be jumping all over the place. You're not going to have focus. And the part that sucks is putting in more energy and time, in a lot of cases, getting more work, getting more sales. If you don't have these foundational principles in place and you don't have a plan to move forward in the right order, have the right recipe, then what will tend to happen is the more work you get, the harder it's going to get. The more work you get, the less money you're going to have. The more work you get, the less cash flow you have, and the more swing in the roller coaster. So get off the roller coaster, get off the hamster wheel, get clear on where you're currently at so that you can get clarity of where it is you got to go. And if you need some help to get you from where you're at to where you want to go, reach out to us. Again, join that Profitable Contractor Association, and we'll see you on the flip side. So we'll catch you later. Share this with other contractors that you think can benefit from it, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Ciao.
Hey, rock stars, thank you for watching the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button. And if you're serious about growing and need help, click on the link below. Myself and my team would love to help and give you the necessary tools so you can take your contracting business to the next level. And remember, dominate, delegate, and deliver.